Hey guys, today we have something a little different. This is an Apocabox unboxing, but it's different from any of the subscription boxes that we have, or that I have. So, this is a replica of a wow, words are hard, World War II, life raft Air Force survival fishing kit. So it's not an exact replica because there was a lot of things that he couldn't get, or he missed a detail here or there, which is totally understandable because it's 100 years old almost. So this was not my favorite Apocabox, but this was also probably one of the coolest Apocaboxes that I've had. And I'm not going to dive real deep into it. I'm just going to kind of show you the contents and give you a general overview. So, originally, this is made to be a, once you untie everything, get everything together, a apron, a fishing apron. I'm not real sure how else to describe that, but it looks like an apron, but on the front of it, it's got a full fishing kit. This one does not. He didn't know that was the case, and so it's missing one strap to make it a apron kit, or survival fishing kit apron. I'm not going to sew in the required cordage to make it an apron, but like as you can tell, this is pretty tight. Also, I mean, obviously, in a survival situation, you wouldn't worry about untying this. You would just unroll it, or you would cut the string to unroll it. So, yeah. You know what? I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm not going to use this for its intended purpose, so this is going to be a supplemental kit to what I already have, so I'm not really worried about the drawstrings on it. And it's also not a exact World War II fishing kit, so I'm not worried about trying to preserve the quality of it, or for the cost. So as you can see, this is a tool roll, basically. It's a cotton canvas. It's not waxed. You can wax it if you need to because it is 100% cotton. So you can wax it, but it does not come pre-waxed. So, starting on this one right here, in this first pouch we have dip net. So this dip net is designed for you to take a sapling, a green thin, half-inch thin sapling, bend it around and run it through this net and make a little handle out of it, and then you have a dip net for your fish. What that's wrapped around is a harpoon. So your harpoon system. This groove right here is made for an oar to fit in. So you put the oar in there, you lash it to the pole, put the oar in there, harpoon a fish, pull it out, and then use the cordage to pull your fish in. This is a micro cord, 100-pound test. So whatever you're harpooning, it should be more than capable of handling whatever you have going on. And then in that pocket as well, we have a just standard bobber. Next up, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 fishing rigs set up for different things. So this is the first one. So I have about 100 feet of line is what they recommended. And they did provide the line for the micro cordage on this one, as well as the braided line on this. So this is like 8-pound braided, but if you're a fisherman, you've ever used braided line, you know it will handle way more than 8 pounds. So you have it on a handrail here, and then you get a spoon to tie on there. I followed the instructions of the original fishing roll, so it may not be the optimal setup for like if you have stuff at your house kind of thing, but I try to go along with what they had, and this is what I came up with. So I've got about 100 feet of line and a spoon, jig, whatever you want to call it, with a treble hook, and a feather off the treble hook. So that's in that one. And right here, so they provided you with lots of leaders, and you get a leader holder. So all this is like a square dowel with a cork in the top of it, and you put your leaders in there, and it keeps them from getting hung up on everything else while you don't need them, which is great. So next up here is they said this was for fishing at the bottom. So I tried to go as much by the instructions as I could. And it said this was for the fishing at the bottom, and you had a lead weight. Well, I was not provided a lead weight, so I did not use that. So what I did here was 60 foot of line, threw a leader on it, a steel leader on it, and if I have some pinch weights to add to it, I can do that. But I wasn't real sure how they wanted to do this, but I wanted to kind of stick with the instructions, so that's what happened. So next up is, what do they call this? A snag hook. So what you got here is about 100 foot of 100-pound test microcord, and you have a huge treble hook. They called it a snag hook. It's foul hooking is what it is. So you take this cordage out, whip it around, throw it out there in the water, drag it in. You feel that bump, boom, you set the line. You foul hook a fish in the side or the belly or in the gills, whatever. Check your local laws, because in a lot of places that's illegal. But if you're in a survival situation, it doesn't matter. But if you're just recreational, testing your gear, do it on some private property where it's safe to do so. But that's what this is, because it has a pretty heavy duty lead head on it, weight, and 2 substantial treble hooks that I threw some tape over because they were catching on everything. But yeah, so this is a foul hook system. Up next is, it looks, it's got the same cordage run through it as our other lure jig fishing kits. This has a weighted head on it with a feather jig. You could fish this so many ways and make it effective as a topwater bait or a mid-water kind of float system. And on this one, I just have about a 80 to 100 foot of 125-pound test. These are just extra handrails that I've thrown in there, so if something happens to one of these wood ones, I have these. It came with these as well. It came with wood and plastic, and I wanted to do the wood just because I wanted to feel like a little authentic. And then here's you have your knife. So you have a PVC pipe with a cork on top to keep it from going all the way through. And then you have a stainless steel knife. 2 pins, part serrated, part straight, stainless steel blade, super sharp. With this, with the handle on it, it's gonna float. You could throw some paracord in there just to make it a little more secure. But this is, if you watch anything on the original one, this is really good comparison. So next up, I have it's another just jig set. So underneath this tape right here, there's a redhead weight with a white jig, white wormtail jig with 8-pound test and a hook, and you put it on the, you jig it, jig, and it'll work. And then in here, if I can get it out of there, there we go. That's about 75 foot of 125-pound test micro cord. So I use this in my EDC gear and my get home bag and everything. It'll work really good, but it's just like if you want a trot line. I mean, if you're in a long-term survival situation, you can run a trot line with this, with the hooks that it comes with, and you can make a trot line, a solid trot line. So I have that in there just for a backup. And last but mostly weird, or I'm sorry, second to last, I guess, but these strips right here are rawhide. So what the idea is you double hook this through the bait, and when you retrieve it, it kind of spins, flashes. Because when you put it in the water, it turns snow white. So it kind of spins, flashes, makes a flash for a lure, and that's supposed to work for all of these different jigs and hooks and everything. The original World War II version of it was a pigskin. It was a pork rind, which, I mean, hell, if it got right down to it, you could eat it, I guess. I don't know. I'm guessing. But, so yeah, you got that. And then the original kit came with a huge, big thing of instructions. And what they did here at Apocabox, what they did is, so your assembly instructions are original and replica, because he could not find everything to fit into the replica that was on the original all around. It just wasn't possible. So, but what they did do was, with the instructions for fishing with the replica, or with the original, they copied them and put them onto the replica. So, zoom in, zoom out a little bit, we'll zoom in, zoom out. If you want to read the instructions, feel free to pause, take your time, read it. But I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. But it was, so yeah, so they have that in there, and I stuck this in the side pocket with it. So, not my favorite Apocabox of all time as far as gear goes, but a really awesome kit. Like, I mean, this is awesome. So he has a breakdown of it, of what his thoughts were, but there was a video that I found from Steve 1989. Just type Steve 19 and it'll come up, because he's all over. He does so many ration reviews and stuff, but he also does some like naval or Air Force survival kits, leg kits or whatever. He does a really good breakdown of one of the original of these, and it's awesome. So go check that out. I'll try to link it down into the notes. But I really like this. It's not my favorite Apocabox, but it's also really cool at the same time. So I appreciate you guys watching. I know I was going to keep it short, but this might ran a little long. But go check out Steve 1989, and he has a super in-depth version of it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, share button, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Thanks.